Let the function h be defined by the above here. If h of m is 36, what is m? So really, they're saying if square root of 5m minus 4 squared is 36, solve for m. Okay, because here we just took m and we put it everywhere that we saw an x, which there's only one place. Alright, so first we can get rid of the square here by taking the square root of that, giving 6. So square root of 5 m minus 4 equals 6. We can bring this over here to make it 10. Okay. So then if we square both sides to get rid of the square root, 5m equals 100, meaning that m equals 20. Alright, if line L contains point A and B, so we're talking about that, which of the following equations, which of the following could be the equation of a line perpendicular to L? So they want to know something like this. Okay, so if we were to know the slope of AB, we could then take the negative inverse to get the perpendicular line. So the slope is the difference of y divided by the difference of x. So the difference of y here is 1, 2, 3. And the difference of, difference of x is 3. And the difference of y is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And it is negative because we are going down this negative 4. Okay, so perpendicular, we would need to have 3/4. So we have a slope here of 3/4, which gives us this guy. If x is 2 to the y and y is z plus 2, then what is x over 2 in terms of z? Okay, so if x is 2 to the y is z plus 2, so x is going to be 2 to the z plus 2. What is x over 2 in terms of z? Well, if we want x over 2, we need to divide both sides here by 2. So here we have 2z plus 1 to get rid of this 2 here, because here really this is meaning we have 2 to the z plus 2 times 2 to the minus 1. Right? So we can simply just add all of these together. Z plus 2 plus minus 1 is going to just be z plus 1. Making this right here the answer, 2 to the z plus 1, which is this guy. Alright, a, b, c, and d are all positive integers. Which of the following is true? So a, 2a is 3b. Okay, so we have a has to be bigger than b. Another way to say that is a over b is 3 over 2. We have 3a for every 2b. Okay. If we have b over c is 5, 6. b is less than c. Okay. And let's move these ones here to have b is less than a. Okay. c over d is 5 over 2. So d is less than c. D is less than C. Alright, so B and D here are kind of front runners for being in the beginning. If we say 2A is 3B and 6B is 5C, that's simply by cross multiplying. So that means that 4A equals, because if we multiply this two, they'll be equals 5C. So that means that A is greater than C. A greater than C. So now we need to relate D and B. Okay, so we'll just have to do these two here. So 6B equals 5C. 2C equals 5B. Right, from this guy. So 12B equals 25B D. Okay, so it only takes 12 B's to get 25 D's, which means that D is less than B. So DBCA. DBCA gives us this answer. Note that it took me probably 4 takes of this problem to actually get an answer that matches. So either I'm being dense or this is a tricky problem. Alright, here we have a sequence of 1, 2, 3, repeating. Okay. So what's the sum of the first 36 terms? Well, how many sets of these 3 numbers do you have? 36 divided by 3 is 12. Okay, so we have 12 of these. So the first triplet of these is 6. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6, times 12 is 72. Okay. Again, we've taken the sequence and we've split it into sets of 3. There are 12 sets of 3 in the first 36 numbers. Right, so there's 12 of these. And each of those 12s gives 6. 6 times 12 is 72. The Venn diagram above shows the distribution of students who play lacrosse, soccer, or both. Alright, so the ratio of lacrosse to soccer is 3 to 4. Okay, which means that we have lacrosse is 24 plus A. A is the number of kids in both, and plus A over 40 plus A. Okay, so what's the value of A? So really, here we now know that we have this equation, so we cross multiply. 3 times 40 plus A equals 4 times 24 plus A. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12 plus 3A equals 4 times 4 is 16, 96 plus 4A. We'll bring the smaller one over here so we don't get a negative, we get an A. And here we take the 96 over here. We have 4, 2. 24 is the answer. In the figure above, what's the area of the shaded triangle? Alrighty. So the area of this shape here is going to be, the area of a trapezoid is going to be half of 6 plus 11. Really what we're trying to do here is find the midpoint here, so we can take this triangle and move it up here. So we need to find the midpoint of 6 and 11, so that's 1/2 6 plus 11 times the height of this trapezoid. Okay, 6 plus 11 is 17 times 8 over 2. Get rid of the 2 out of here to give a 4. So that gives us 68 is the area of this total thing. If we subtract from that the area of this, which is going to be half the base times the height, so 6 times 4 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. And the same thing here, we're going to take half of base times the height, so 4 divided by 2 is 2 times 11 is 22. Okay, so 8 minus 4 is 4. 6 minus 1, 2, 3 is 34, giving us this answer. So let omega p be defined as p squared divided by 3 minus p for all positive integers. If omega n is equal to s, and s is a positive integer, so omega of n is going to just be n squared over 3 minus n equals a positive s. So what is a possible answer to this equation such that s is a positive integer? So if we were to say n is equal to 1, we have 1/3 minus 1 is going to be a negative number. Minus 2/3, so that's wrong. If n is 2, we have 4/3 minus 2 is not an integer, right? Because we have 4/3 minus 2, and it's, so if we say 3 here, 9/3 minus 3, this here is going to reduce to 3. Okay, so 3 minus 3 is 0, which is not positive. Okay, now in order for this to be an integer, this thing here can't be a fraction. So this n squared needs to be some multiple of 3. So 4 times 4 is 16 divided by 3. That doesn't work. 5 times 5 is 25 divided by 3 also doesn't work, because that's not a multiple of 3. But if we say 6, 6 times 6 is 36 divided by 3, okay, which is really 12, minus 6. So we're going to have 6 is the final answer, giving us this. Right? So again, we are finding values really of p such that the answer to this thing here is a positive integer. That's what they're telling you with this s part here. Right? So this answer has to be a positive integer. We found a bunch of fractions. We found 0, and then 6 is one of the possibilities to get a positive integer. Right, in the graph, they tell you that f is a quadratic. Right, so it's going to be your normal x squared plus something x plus something whatever, which you'll then factor down to be x minus whatever, x plus whatever, something like that. Right, so quadratic formula means this. Now they give you 3 of the points. So we see here that it crosses here, and then it crosses at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then it crosses again at 2, 3, 4, 5. Here again. Now quadratics are symmetric, or at least the ones that are kind of this parabola shape. What that means is that it's going to cross 0 here again at 6. Okay, and then the maximum point is going to be in the middle here at 3. You know, the x equals 3. Okay, so now what we need to do is find what's the formula for this curve. Now, we have the two zero crossings, So we know that we're going to have the x be equal to 0 at here. So there's really no offset, so it's going to be just x. And x needs to counteract. So when x is 6, we need to have a y equals 0 again. So that would lead you to think that we have x minus 6 here, because when you have x minus 6, you're going to be back at 0. However, the problem with that is that at 3, we're going to get 3 times 3 minus 6. Okay, so that's going to be it's going to be a negative number, 3 minus 6. Right, so minus 3. So really what we're going to want is x times 6 minus x, which still satisfies our constraint here, except for now we get 3 times 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. This problem strikes me as being particularly difficult for being on the SAT, but it's a lot of fun. Alright, so this is kind of a tricky problem. The circumference here is going to be the same as from here around to here. Okay, so the circumference of the big circle is going to be 12 squared pi. No, that's the area. We have 2 pi r, okay, times 300 3/60ths, right? 360 is all the way around. We only get 300 of it. 360 minus 60 degrees, they tell us. Okay, so 2 pi r times this is going to be the circumference of this circle here. Okay, so let's reduce this here. This 12 gets rid of 36 here. 3 times 12 is 36. Okay, that 0 cancels that 0. Okay, so now we have 60. Actually, here this 3 cancels this 3. So 20 pi is the circumference of this guy, of him. So what's the radius? The radius is, we have 2 pi r, right? Radius of this guy, is 20 pi, okay? Because now we're trying to find what's the distance from here to here. Okay, so the pi's cancel. We divide by 2, so r equals 10. Okay, so now we have a triangle where we happen to know that this here is 10. Right? They want the height of the cone. They want the distance from here to here. Okay, and we also happen to know that this here is 12, because this here is still the center. This right here is still going to correspond to here. This distance is this distance here. Okay, so simply using the Pythagorean theorem, we have this x squared plus 10 squared equals 12 squared. Okay, so x squared is going to be 144 minus 100. X squared equals 44, which means that the answer here is square root of 44. This is a tricky problem.